Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Ashlee Escobar, and for those of you who don't know me already, I am the owner of Angelic Love Light. Excuse me there, I don't know how to talk today. I am a holistic healer and wellness nurse. We are here on the Wake Up, our YouTube channel, which is an extension of our business, Angelic Love Light, which helps you to create more balance in your body, mind, and spirit through our online virtual coaching program and our holistic services. I want to get started talking on the topic of today's video, which you guys see is the nodes are shifting into two different signs. A lot of you are like, what the hell is this? What does it mean? And what do I do with it? So that's what we're going to break down in these short few minutes here. So it's a really exciting time. This is happening on the same day as a new moon. So we've got double Cancer energy, domicile in the ruler of the moon. So that's already enhanced energy. And then we have the nodes that have shifted from the signs Taurus, Scorpio to Libra, Aries. Now, these are a compatible energy, so I don't feel the shift, although they are very different, I don't feel the shifts are going to be that extreme. So anytime there's a zodiac change or a planetary shift in zodiac, you can always feel like the energy is different. It almost feels like you're observing the world from the outside in. A good friend of mine asked me, he's like, what do you mean by that when you say that? And I said, it's as if you're partaking in the world, but you're looking through like a snow globe and the world is going on around you, but you're not acclimated to it yet because there's this new energy that just feels different or new. And it takes time to integrate and get used to it and see how it's going to impact you. So the nodes have shifted, and I want to talk about what the nodes are and what they represent a little bit before we dive into this conversation. So all of us have nodes in our astrological natal chart. If you're not familiar with that, you can check my website out, book that service with me. It's a great tool and resource to have throughout life. But the nodes are like mathematical zodiac points, and they're not actual planets or anything. They represent in your chart what's equivalent to the north node is your destiny, and your south node is what's holding you back from getting there. Now, for everybody, your nodes are going to be in different signs. They are always retrograde at the time of birth, which means there are deeper lessons within your nodes in your chart. There are spiritual areas to dive into and have new perspective on and to shift and help you to grow in your healing and wellness journey. So you're going to want to pull your natal chart out for those of you who have had it done with me and check out what your nodes say specifically. Now, the north nodes are involving two cardinal signs, Aries and Libra. This morning I made a new moon video and I couldn't remember the fourth cardinal sign, and it's my opposite, Capricorn. Hello. So there's actually a cardinal cross happening today because of the double new moon Cancer energy and then the nodes shifting into Aries Libra. That is known as a cardinal cross. So the cardinal signs are Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn. There's one from each zodiac that makes up that type of sign, the cardinal sign. And so this means that there's going to be a little bit more for any Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn. And I want to say your sun and your rising. So check your sun, check your rising, even your moon sign, your big three. That's known as your big three. If you are an Aries, Libra, Cancer, or Capricorn within your sun, moon, or rising, you are going to feel this shift a little bit more than other people. And that's going to hit from an angle of duality, where it could present more challenges for growth and lessons, but then that equal blessing that comes out on the other side of the darkness. And so there's a climax energy for these four signs, which I am three of those. So I'm excited to see what it brings. And Plus, my nodes are actually in 2 of those signs. So I'm expecting a really big season for the next 18 months. So the nodes, if you don't know, also align with the eclipses that are going to happen in the rest of the year and next year. Okay, so the next time we have an eclipse, a solar or a lunar, it's going to be in the node sign, which are Aries and Libra. Eclipses bring massive, massive, massive change, kind of unexpected. You can kind of point it out and feel it out before it happens, so you can kind of know what area of life it's going to be. But the nodes definitely play a big part into our life. Now, the collective, and somebody asked me the other day, great question, I love questions because not everybody understands how I speak. When I say collective, I mean the world. So we are all individuals who have energy and are made up of a natal chart, which makes us the whole personality of us. And the world has nodes too. So the world's nodes are the ones that are shifting, not our personal nodes. My nodes just align with the nodes that we are now shifting into. So the collective nodes stay here for 18 months. So about mid-January of 2025, we will have another shift. So we're going to sit with this energy for quite a long time. So it might as well be really, really important to you because it's going to impact you. It's going to affect you whether you realize it or not. And I'm going to help fill in the blank spaces so you can kind of understand the Aries and the Libra energy and what this all means. So today at 3:59 Eastern Standard Time, the nodes have officially changed. And in the Libra Aries axis, where they're going to be for the next 18 months, this really creates an emphasis on relationships and commitment. Now, when you hear relationships, most people think of your intimate relationships. I call them the ships of life. There's many different relationships. So you need to apply all this information to all the types of relationships there are. Your co-workerships, your friendships, your intimate ships, your family ships, your children's ships, all the ships, okay? And this is really a time, somebody was talking to me and saying how they felt that the codependency that is happening in current times and surfacing to be released or transformed was kind of because of Venus retrograde. And I'm like, no, it's actually because of the nodes. This is a time, the nodes are actually presenting information to help us let go of codependency and to learn to be self-sufficient, but also that autonomy with other people, that one other person at work, in your friendship, in your marriage, in your boyfriend and girlfriend, so that we do need to be independent people and know how to fill our own cup and help ourselves, but that we also need how to work together when involving another person. So it's an essential time to let go of everything you've outgrown. And there are 3 main questions that I want you to kind of marinate for the node shifting to help you consider. Maybe you'll use these as journal prompts, or maybe you'll use them as shadow work topics, even asking in meditation and being open for guidance in your meditation. You can also ask these questions in water element and allow for the answers to come through your clairs. But I want to tell you what they are, and this is going to help you to deal with the Libra Aries energy, that it's a time to create balance more than ever between blazing through your own path and caring for other people. It's important to do both, but at a balanced perspective. So the first thing is, I want you to think of and know that it's essential to let go of the relationships that aren't working anymore. Now, I don't mean like you just have one little misagreement and you haven't tried to work it out. There are people that just cut people off instantaneously. And hey, maybe that's where they're at in journey. I know me, if it's something really, really big and hard, it's a one and done, especially for where I'm at with my peace. But I do give those chances because we're not perfect. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So after the third time is when I'm like, all right, I've really tried this. I will also look at the compatibilities between zodiacs. So for example, compatibilities means there's less challenges, and you're not going to be compatible with everybody. That doesn't mean you don't like them. It may mean that you have to work harder to communicate with them, or you have to. I'm going to give a perfect example. My partner and I, we are very, very, very highly compatible in many ways throughout our natal chart. One aspect that we've learned in this last year that we just started having to communicate a little bit differently is that our communication signs of Mercury are in opposing signs. So that means we have to work a little bit harder when we're communicating on harder topics. It doesn't mean we don't get along. It doesn't mean I don't love him. It just means we have to work a little harder and be more mindful of our communication. So before cutting somebody off, I always take into consideration, now I may not know their whole natal chart, but your sun sign is your ego. And if I have a complete opposite opposing sign, I'm going to put hella fucking boundaries with that person because I know they're not compatible. Is it an ideal world where all my friends and family will be compatible to me? No, but I can maintain connections and friendships with the more compatible ones. And that's what usually works for me. And I do notice that is my primary group. It's when you get down, I've had a girlfriend before be a very compatible sun sign with me, but when you get down into her chart, she's a whole lot of not compatible with me. And that's just a connection that is a little bit more distant, and we don't talk a lot, and we have much love for each other, but we're just very distant. And that I appreciate because I think it can prevent arguments and fights, but not having to cut the person off completely unless there's something that's majorly disrespected you or your boundaries. I think it's important to consider, where are the relationships not working? Have you tried to communicate this? Have you tried to mend it? And if your answer is it's not worth it, I don't want to hear that because you don't know that truly until you've tried. Now, you may feel, I'm going to go talk to mom and she's still going to have this stubborn attitude. Well, guess what? That's still your mom. You just know you can't talk with her about certain things. You can't go to her over certain things. But have you tried yet? Because the one time you try may be the time she gets it right. But if you don't try, and then you eventually learn, okay, this person isn't changing their patterns or they aren't growing and they're staying stagnant. So now I know that mostly our relationship isn't going to work. So think about which relationships aren't working and where aren't they working. Is it just the overall connection? Is it the communication? Is it your needs or your boundaries being crossed? Well, what is not working, and have you communicated on that? There is so much power in realizing so many people aren't communicating, and part of that reason is we have these things called fucking smartphones and nobody's using them smartly. You're using them to scroll social media and waste your time, but you're not using them to communicate. Now, it's not the easiest for people to communicate, and sometimes it is a little bit disturbing to communicate when people are communicating through text. There's something that, I don't know, it gives somebody motivation or power where they feel like a tough guy texting or behind computer words. But pick up that phone or do that face to face and keep that energy the same way. But it's not what you say, it's how you say it. But are you actually communicating when you're upset? What went wrong? Have you tried? Because sometimes people have imaginary smoke and imaginary problems with people who have no idea that you even have an issue. I always like to say, if you don't have my number, you don't know me well enough to have an issue with me. So the second thing is dysfunctional ways of relating to others. And what do I mean by this? Playing too small. So most of my life, I knew how unique I was and how different I was, but that made it harder for me to have aligned friends at one point. So I had to dumb myself down and do things that I didn't feel authentic doing to be a part of a group. And at this point in life, that is complete opposite of what I know what I do and what is right to do. So I used to find myself drinking a whole lot or gossiping about other people with other people, and like just things that people find ways to relate with each other. Do you ever notice like people like gather together not over common things that they enjoy, but like the people they don't like? You ever met a group of people who like all don't like you, and it's like really not you stuff, it's them stuff, but they're conquering to each other because of the dislike for you? That is a dysfunctional way to relate to another human being. If you are not connecting with somebody based off of alignments, it's dysfunctional probably. Or if it's a trauma bond that isn't working on growing and mending and repairing, which involves both parties to do that. A trauma bond can untrauma bond. What most people don't realize is trauma bonds come together because of both their traumas, but it can become very narcissistic and codependent. But when both parties are healing, you can actually grow together and mend that trauma bond. It just means both parties have to be working to grow together and emerging some way, somehow. Not trusting your intuition or your self-sovereignty. That's because with the nodes being in Aries and Libra, trusting what you want and not needing validation from outside sources is a very big theme with Aries Libra energy. I will explain more when I get to the meat of the message. So that is the basics on the node information, and now I want to dive into the specific Aries and Libra content that we have. So the last time, first of all, I just want to say the last time we had this energy, because you can kind of look back and have something to gauge what you were going through back then. And now it may not have been specifically from the nodes, but the nodes are a huge part of not only our personal lives, but collective energy as well. So the last time this happened was 18 years ago. They were in Aries Libra. And that was around 2004 to 2006. I had just graduated from high school in 2004. And it was so sad. Like, this is bringing me back to like a really surreal time, because this was like right when I met my ex-husband. So like a very old version of me that has had many, many, many deaths. And I'm sure a lot of you tuning in have changed and grown a lot and had a lot of traumas and a lot of happenings since 2004 and 2006. So I want you to kind of like take your Google photo memories, take your Facebook memories, whatever you want to use, your photo album, and kind of go back to that 2004, 2006 time period and think of what you were going through. Think of what your challenges were. Think of what the happenings were. What was big in your life? Because it may have similar patterns that are coming back up. And this time around, you can close a chapter, you can end this cycle, and you can level up and alchemize in your healing and wellness journey. So first of all, you're going to want to know which node is where, and the North Node is actually in Aries. So our destiny, our purpose is all in that North Node of Aries. Aries, from a balance perspective, I always talk about signs. Usually I try to give you both, but right now I'm only going to give you the balanced characteristics. So it's going, and you don't have to be these signs because the energy is going to impact you regardless. You do need to find in your chart not only where your nodes are, but also take a look at where the Aries and Libra energy is, what houses it's in, because the houses may give you clues to where the nodes will impact you, okay, besides relationship and commitment. So Aries being in the North Node is all about new beginnings, because Aries take leadership. They are hyper independent people. They push to the unknown for their own growth and healing. They're masters at this. They have courage, they have confidence, they take risk, and they like taking charge. Now that sounds like very independent-ish. We just said the big theme this next 18 months is going to be relationships and commitment. In order to have healthy relationships with other people, you must have a good relationship with yourself. So you need to date yourself, you need to heal yourself so you can be equally equivalent to whatever you're trying to attract in your life for a mate, or if you already have a spouse, so you can become a better partner and team player in the connection, okay? That's the goal, guys. Because without that relationship with self and becoming that confident, courageous, risk taker, taking charge, knowing what to do, how can you give into a relationship? That's where that codependency falls on, and you're leaning on one person to be more of the other or to give more than what you're receiving. And this is all about balance, especially with that South Node being in Libra. Libra is the sign of balance. They like to achieve balance. So we're going to feel a lot more compared to the Taurus Scorpio energy. Hello. Scorpio is intense fucking energy. So bringing it down to Libra, who likes balance, we're going to take all the growth we learned from Taurus Scorpio energy and claiming our healing journey, and now we're going to balance everything out. This next 18 months is really about balance. So the Libra energy is all about integration, the merging, because the scale has to have both sides, and this is where the connectivity of the two come together for the relationships and commitment. There's a lot of changes in relationships going to be happening. Don't hold on. I kind of talked briefly earlier in the new moon episode that when you hold on or cling on or attach on to a person, a connection, a mindset, anything, you ultimately push it away. You've got to give people space. Even partners who've been together 50 fucking years need space. When you don't take that, when you don't have that, you can be of one person, have different goals or similar hobbies, but if you don't have space, you ultimately push your partner away. There's going to be relationships ending. There are going to be relationships starting. There's going to be evolution in relationships. I am hoping for all of you that any toxic, unhealthy relationships vanish, and anyone's going through some rocky, hard times will be able to rebirth new them in a new team energy into their relationship for the best of you guys. So many times I hear clients say, we're doing it for the kids, we're doing it for the kids. Do you realize how badly you are hurting the kids worse by staying together? My daughter literally got worse impact from her domestic violence she witnessed by me choosing to leave than children who see, hear, feel, listen to parents fight all their lives for 18 years. The children are not a reason. The children are not an excuse because you're hurting them anyways. I am so glad that my father walked away when I was 5 years old rather than staying with my mother at all, because I would have had more damage done to me. Regardless, there's some impacts, right? But you're going to limit those by what you choose to do for yourself, okay? You need to choose what's best for you. The kids are going to go through it. They're going to have a hard time regardless if you stay or you don't stay. So I'm just saying. This is an area where you can ask yourself, where am I people pleasing? Because sometimes Libras have a bad habit of, they want to be of service and they are of other people and doing for others, that they almost are people pleasing a little bit too much, and they'll get frustrated and angry over it. But you don't realize, like, you're throwing yourself at people. Like, don't try to people please. You need to back it up and pump your own brakes, because nobody's asking you to, like, be my savior type of thing. You need to check yourself and review those areas. Where are you people pleasing too much? Ask yourself, what am I compromising, avoiding confrontation? Libras have this thing because they want so much peace and justice that they're almost scared of confrontation in a healthy way. Not all confrontation is negative. Confrontation can be when there's something really hard to talk about, but you still persevere and talk through it with courage, with respect for one another. So when a Libra energy especially promotes us to do this, here's the thing. Universe is kind of going to give us these situations to help us practice them and to help us grow into the Aries Libra energy. So you're going to have to expect that this is going to have to happen in order for you to become better at it. How else would you grow through that? So be prepared that you're going to face situations that are asking you to communicate. through challenge and hard times, and confrontation. Ask yourself, what and who am I codependent of? Because this is going to help you to strengthen your connections. When you realize, holy shit, I do ask for a little bit more help before I even try on my own. Or because of this, and that. Everyone has something. Every neurodivergent with ADHD or something could be codependent. It's up to you whether you're really codependent or not. For somebody, I worked on my codependency so much that I have to remind myself to still ask for help. Once in a while I do, and I still don't get it. So it's like, I'll just do it myself because that's how it gets done. But I used to ask for the help all the time, and I would get it. So you almost have to ask yourself, where are you too codependent? Where are you hyper independent? Then merge, meet at the middle, create that healthy balance. There's an extra need for sensitivity to other people's emotions during this time, and that's because Pluto's in Capricorn and the sun and moon being in Cancer. Cancer is a very emotional sign, and Saturn is a very tough energy. That's my rising sign. So I am a perfect balance of my zodiac opposite. And sometimes I am too emotional. I could be too emotional or too hardened. And it's always about meeting in the middle, being compassionate and empathetic, but also having that leadership and nurturing safety side, because people feel that from my energy and why they do connect with me and talk to me and work with me. Look at your own behaviors. How do you take leadership? How do you do with courage? Courage is being scared to do something and still fucking doing it. Where does the Leo energy in your chart reside? And spread that out and sprinkle it into the other areas. Where are you not compromising? This is huge because the world doesn't exist. There's not anything you can do here on Earth that doesn't involve another person. We can be highly, highly independent, but you have to communicate or interact with another human being. Here on Earth, this dimension is known for having spiritual beings having a human experience, and humans crave interaction. So where are you not compromising, and where are you compromising too much? Because, for example, I used to overgive, and a lot of my boundaries were being not upheld. I needed to make changes in my schedule and how I do things and why I do things to even maintain my boundaries. That doesn't mean I don't hold space to compromise and meet somebody halfway once in a while, but I can't make a habit out of it if it's going to jeopardize my boundaries. And I say that to give you an example so that you can also know you shouldn't be compromising your values. You shouldn't be compromising your boundaries, but you shouldn't be so rigid. And there are a lot of rigid people that literally only can do their things their way and only do their routines their way. Some may think I'm like that. I'm not as bad as some people I know. I've got somebody I know that, like, she does her whole full day the same way every single day. You ask her to do something, she can't do anything. She literally can't live off that, like, very rigid routine, and she doesn't see anything wrong with it, but I still love her for it. I just know what I can't do with her. Bravery equals openness, and fear is closed off, guarded, okay? And this is important because as you're healing in your shadow work, you are having faith and being brave to open to new possibilities while releasing that fear, surrendering to that fear, and letting the guard down and being vulnerable, because as hard as it is, it's the most powerful thing for you. Knowing that peace comes from within. So have the courage to initiate and help change what small actions that you need to, whether that's criticism, because the some of the things that you're going to want to look for changing or you doing more of during this next 18 months that you may not be your baseline energy. Criticism is a big thing. Aries and Libra do have negative perspectives on them, just like any other zodiac, and both those signs kind of criticize other people a lot. They don't look at themselves enough, and they don't ask themselves, why am I concerned about this? It's none of my business enough, because their exterior, they're they're hiding their own stuff and looking at other people to judge them or criticize them, when really they need to be turning their nose inside to them. So look for those areas too that may not be your baseline, but could be the negative aspects of these zodiacs to help you balance it out. Because, for example, Libra being in the South Node, if you are too critical of other people and you're not willing to collaborate with other people that are different than you, you could be holding yourself back towards your work destiny. For example, that's just one, not only, and that's a relationship topic. You know, if you think you're so much better than somebody that you can't connect with them or you can't work with them, or there's somebody so much greater than them, that is going to impact your relationship. You could be held back by this negative belief system down here that's holding you back. And in order to get to your destiny, you got to make changes that correct this stuff down here. Stand up for what's right. Both Aries and I will change it to a positive perspective. Aries and Libra both are big on justice and what is right. Now, we live in a world of ego here on Earth. You can't also get so black and white on rules. Like, for example, like they are big on justice where sometimes they are seeing like themselves like do no wrong, but other people doing wrong. You've got to be able to check yourself. Nobody's perfect. Everybody does something wrong, even Aries and Libra signs. They're not more perfect because they like justice and balance, or stick up for what's right. Also, be open to looking at things new, because with them standing up for what's right, they are more about their own mindset on it. So universe is going to be presenting some situations to make you look at still standing up for what's right, but looking at things differently. Looking at why the person thinks this is just or fair, or is right. And maybe it's going to open your mindset to new possibilities and see, oh, they aren't really being a rebel with bad intentions, or they aren't trying to break the law, or they aren't trying to screw me over. So it's important to keep these in mind. Be the messenger of peace through the right actions and balance both the nodes together. The Libra Aries energy is a beautiful energy when it is balanced and when they merge and come together. They are the zodiac opposites, and so the nodes will reside in Aries Libra for the next 18 months, helping to eliminate some of that codependency that you have inside of you and around you, and also help strengthen your connections, moving into more aligned connections and releasing the ones that no longer serve us, guys. You need to be a-okay with releasing people from your life. It is nothing personal. It's energetic. It happens sometimes without people even trying. There's not an issue. There's not beef. There's not problems. That is the cycle and growth of life. Many people are going to come into your life. Think about the friends you were friends with in kindergarten. Are you still friends with them? Do you cry over that you're not friends with them? No. That happens. Many people come in, many people go out, but we're all connected still as one. And watch out, because you're going to bump up into them upstairs. So, you may pay for karma later on over something you didn't do, or try to get forgiveness or compromise down here. And I don't know about you, I want to do the work down here so I can enjoy up there. I don't want to have to work as much once I get up there. But all right, guys, I will catch you on the next episode. Stay tuned. We've got a lot of transits going on, so I will be connecting the dots for you and letting you know how this can help you in your healing and wellness journey. As always, check out the website. Feel free to subscribe to the email list and book your wake-up call to see how we can help you heal deeper within your personal development.